All right. Welcome back to another very exciting episode of the HHC podcast. This is episode number 31. I am your host, Jacob Moreno, and I'm here with all three of my brothers, Josh, Chris, and Juan. How
Yes,
are
sir.
y'all doing this week?
It's lovely. Christmas time.
Yeah.
Very exciting stuff. Um, we I'm out of here. I'm out of my college first semester at Texas Tech. Right here, had to put on a little bit of stuff to rep for the week. Um, it was a very exciting first semester, but I'm excited to have my month break. Right, but
Are they playing in a bowl game or what?
I think we already did play in our bowl game. I'm not too
No.
sure, honestly. No,
Well, you did not play in your bowl game already.
not playing my bowl game already. So we do
Probably
have
not. They're firing their coaches over there. And
Yeah, there's a good amount of stuff going on with Texas Tech football that I haven't been 100% paying attention to, but I've been watching our basketball team and we're good. So
that Quinn
Um,
Ewers guy, he's going to UT, not Texas Tech.
no,
Yeah.
I need him to go to Texas Tech.
That mullet, it's going to be the star of Texas.
I need him to be a Red Raider. That way, I have something really nice to root for at the beginning of next year. But this is a Spurs podcast, right? We do this Spurs podcast every Sunday. We're live at 10 a.m. Central Time. We do this podcast on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. All three that you can find us live. But if you cannot watch us live, we do have our VODs on all three platforms right after the show is done. So if you want to catch up on anything, you want to rewatch the episode, whatever you want to do to just continue to watch us talk Spurs basketball, it's right there after this. After we're done live, right? With that, I think we can kind of go ahead and get right into the recap. It was a pretty disappointing 1-3 week. We played against the Phoenix Suns, the New York Knicks, and then Denver twice, the Denver Nuggets twice. And that week on Monday, we played against we started off against the Phoenix Suns in a loss 104-108. It was a pretty tight loss, but overall, I can't be too crazy disappointed with the loss. It was just a tight game until the end when you see the likes of Chris Paul be able to just take over a game and our guys not be able to keep up in that handle. One thing that I will note is that we had five starters put up double digits, as well as Bryn Forbes put up double digits, but the rest of our bench production was pretty lacking. Trey Jones went 1 for 8 shooting. Lonnie Walker had 2 for 6. Thad Young 1 for 4. Drew Eubanks 1 for 3. And I would say that that's probably the biggest thing that led to our detriment against the Phoenix Suns, because even on their side of the end, they only had Cam Johnson put up 13 and JaVale McGee put up 13 on their bench, and not much bench production other than that. So that's just one thing to note on how that loss went against Phoenix. The more disappointing loss, in my opinion, was against the New York Knicks, as we lost 121-109 the next night. In that loss, the Knicks just were shooting on all cylinders, and we couldn't hit anything when we really needed to towards the middle of the game, right? RJ Barrett had finished the game with 32 points, Julius Randle with 15, Emmanuel Quickley with 16 off their bench, and Mitchell Robinson with 11 points, 14 rebounds, as well as 3 blocks and 2 steals off of the bench for the Knicks. And on our side, Derek White had 26, 7, and 6 on 9 for 18 shooting. But other than Derek in a pretty regular game from DeJounte, we really didn't have much standing out. Bryn Forbes did have 12 points off the bench for us. But again, Bryn Forbes being the only player with double digits, nobody else on our bench had any production. Lonnie Walker went 1 for 7 that night. Jock Landale in some garbage time put up 5 points on 2 for 2. But other than that, like nothing crazy from the Spurs bench. Another thing to note was that was the night that Keldon Johnson tweaked his ankle, so he only played 15 minutes and then went out for the rest of the night, which was a pretty big hit to us, to say the least, right? Good thing is, though, is that we were able to move forward with it and beat the Denver Nuggets on Thursday, 111-123. and that night, the honestly, it was a Derek White, DeJounte Murray show, and Lonnie Walker. Sorry, can't forget Lonnie's 20 off the bench. Right, we had Lonnie with 20 off the bench, Derek with 23, DeJounte with 20, and also Drew Eubanks was able to step it up this game and put up 14 and 6 off the bench. And we were pretty much able to just keep Nikola Jokic doing his thing, having 20, 10, and 13, and Aaron Gordon having 25. But nobody on the Denver bench really had any type of production. So we were able to take advantage of a very tired Denver team and take a nice victory on that Thursday. The opposite happened on Saturday, however, because while we were able to kind of keep their bench from scoring at all, in that first game. The second game, Denver's bench came out and had Marcus Howard, who didn't even play on Thursday, played Saturday and put up 21 points on 7 for 15 shooting. He had hit 6 for 12 from the 3-point line, as well as I think his name is Bones Highland, had 16 points on 6 for 12 shooting, 4 for 9 from 3. And they still also had Nikola Jokic put up 35, 8, and 17 against us. And it was honestly just something that we couldn't stop. As a team overall, the Denver Nuggets had 20 for 13 for the 3-point line, or 20 for 43, sorry, from the 3-point line, and we went 10 for 17. To put some other numbers on that, that's 47% from 3 for Denver and 37% for us. So it was pretty much a night of just they hit 3-point shots, and we really couldn't handle it after that second quarter, in which they scored 44. So it was a pretty disappointing week overall. I couldn't tell you which one's a more disappointing loss between the New York loss or the Denver loss, but what do y'all have to say about this week overall? Juan, I think you have a. I think you were talking.
Nobody wants to say nothing. It was disappointing.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. You touched up on a lot of different games. It was a disappointing week, like overall, because I think we all predicted a 3-1 week for us.
Yeah.
And so, because we all kind of saw, like, I'm sure, like, how well we were playing last week and how it should have led into this week. But it's the consistency. The Phoenix loss was. It was kind of getting away from us. We made a final push, and it was like we ended up kind of making too many little mistakes and turnovers there at the end of that game. And like you said, they had Chris Paul to kind of close it out for them. So, I kind of like live with that. You're okay. I'm okay with those type of losses when they're like on their own or like in the middle of like a win streak or something, something like that. So coming off the 4-game win streak, I wasn't too like upset with that one. But then I know it was a back-to-back, but the way we responded against the Knicks, where it kind of felt like they were getting every look they wanted, every play of the game. You had said that Julius Randle had 15 points on the game total. It felt like he had 15 points in the fourth quarter, like put us away. He just had a bunch of like step back, like mid-range jumpers over Drew and
fade to the right, shoot with the left hand.
Yeah, it was just like every play. RJ Barrett with like a career high, like 3-pointers. It was just like, I guess, you can say like people can have their career games against bad teams, right? But like, it doesn't feel like that's the type of team we are yet. It felt like that what was happening because of that New York game. And then obviously the win against Denver was just like a good, like wire to wire win. But then the loss, we responded back. Pop said we just didn't respond well to a win, and they responded how you should to a loss. And that's happened pretty much all year. Is like Devin had made the comment earlier in the year, like we just don't respond well after wins. We get complacent or whatever it may be. But like you said, just two guys who didn't even play against us on Thursday in Denver went off in that second quarter and just like blew it open. And then to start the third quarter, our guys just didn't come out and respond right. And they went on a run again, put the game away immediately. And because 3-point shooting, that's how the NBA works too, is anybody can get hot and then just open games up or bring games back. And so that's pretty much my thoughts on the week.
Yeah.
and we lack that 3-point shooting to bring us back on when we're in those holes, you know. So it's kind of frustrating. Like I know like I've talked about it before, but last night like we played a lot of that Bryn and Trey lineup that shit just kills me. And I know they made a little run, and like I think Jake, you tweeted, you're like, man, if our second unit don't cook this third or fourth unit, like, but I still cannot stand the lineup. I don't even care what we're doing. Like I never want to see it. So when we see it, I'm disappointed big time, and it makes me like, I know we talked about this before, where we're like, who's expendable on the team, and I'm not saying like I'm trying to get rid of Trey, but I just wish that Derek would run with those guys. I feel like if we had Derek in there instead of Trey, like I don't know, maybe things would have went different.
Well,
I feel like we need to find our lineups still.
Well,
like
I think last night was more Pop was just pulling the starters and not letting them touch the court ever again.
Well, I mean, they did, right? They didn't. At Denver, as soon as like we got close, we went on that small little run, and that's what I wish they would do. Whenever we got close enough where Denver was uncomfortable, and remember they put in Aaron Gordon and Jokic, they put him back in to close the game. I wish we would have just made that one move and brought somebody in, so we don't have those two little guys. Because as soon as we do that, like they put Trey or Brennan in the paint, and somebody helps, and then somebody's wide open like all night for three. Like it was just too hard. It was too hard to make up their like lack of defensive ability like anywhere else on the floor.
Yeah, well, but I mean, Denver is probably coming at you with Jokic and Aaron Gordon most of the night at the 4 and the 5, and like, who are we getting out there to stop Aaron Gordon? You know what I mean? Like, I think he put Vassell.
That guy was bullying everybody, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I didn't get to see the second half, but I watched the highlights, and yeah, I think it was Derek White put him right on his back, backed him down all the way into the paint, and dunked it. You know what I mean? Like,
that turnaround
off of a. Yeah, so like, I don't know, it's tough when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm not too like, we've kind of talked a lot about Trey and Trey's role and as the backup or whatever. And I think if they're committing to Derek White in the starting lineup, then I think Trey is your backup point guard.
Well, I mean and that's fine, but like then don't put Brent out there.
Well,
That's
but then
I didn't see that second. I didn't see that second half to see like the context of putting that lineup in or whatever.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say it's hard because Bryn's the one who comes in and knocks down the shots. He's the one who,
and that's what I'm saying. We cannot. And if Bryn's on, then Derek needs to be in there running the point. And same thing, like if Trey's on, then we don't need to have Bryn in there. I'm not saying don't play those guys, just don't fucking play them together.
But it didn't really work out that much to start the year, and I always like agreed with you. But this like last stretch, these last couple of weeks, it's kind of worked. That like little bit of lineup, because I think we've been able to get away with it like more
and I think that's the big difference. Getting away with it and it working, and I don't think that's the same, because we saw what a team like a decent team. Denver's missing a lot of their pieces, right? They have like Jamal's hurt. They have a couple injuries, and I think some COVID related players that were out, but they saw it, and I feel like they took advantage of it like this.
Yeah, but I mean any lineup that goes like, even if you just think about like a small ball lineup in general, a small ball lineup is conceding some advantages and getting away with certain things because you have other advantages. You know what I'm saying? So like you have to risk. Yeah, you have those risks when it comes to certain lineups.
To me, in a small ball lineup doesn't mean two midget
6'1",
1 and 2. Like a small ball lineup is the 4 and the 5.
But all I'm saying is a small ball lineup has concessions at somewhere on the court. That's all I'm saying. Is that the idea of what you were saying? Like if you're getting away with something that's not the same as it working, people get away with taking away size from their 4 and their 5. To get more speed, to get more shooting, to get more this, and that is a concession, and that is getting away with something to a certain extent.
But we don't have the personnel to, like, if we go small at the 1 and the 2, like we're small across the whole board. We don't have a big 4.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but I guess what I'm just trying to say is like there is concessions there, and so and so from that point of view, there is a way that we could be productive still with those guys. It just comes down to hitting shots.
Yeah, if we're playing the Matadors.
To add to Juan's point, the same way that we somewhat made this comeback against Denver is the way that we made our comeback against Phoenix, and that was because we ran a lineup of I can't remember the full five, but I just remember it was Trey, Bryn, and then I think Akeda, Drew. I'm trying to remember who else was out there, but it was literally the end of our rotations, and that we made a comeback with those guys, and it was that close game, right? And so as far as
it's just because Trey was making good plays, making a heady plays.
Yeah, and if the lineup hasn't filled completely yet. There are times when you're right. And I see Bryn out there. I think my problem is when we need to figure out when we need to pull Bryn or when we need to pull Trey. Because like you said, when it comes close and then they just bring their regular guys back out there, Bryn's too much of a defensive liability, in my opinion.
And even Trey is great on the perimeter too. It's they get a switch and they put both of them in the paint, and then somebody switches and then somebody's wide open or somebody comes and help. You know what I mean?
And at that point, right? It just kind of becomes a thing where I'm I need a substitution out there now. And throughout the Phoenix game, I was frustrated because I think we were subbing a couple players in that I was well, these guys weren't the ones that were on it at that point. You know what I mean? I'd much rather see this guy out there instead of, I think KJ got subbed in there at that point, and I was why? And in the Denver game, there's kind of my same headspace of we're making this run, we should bring KJ out there. We should just put KJ out there because he was the one person who was hitting every three. You know what I mean? He was the person who was knocking down perimeter shots.
And talking about last night against Denver?
Yeah.
Well, I just think that you can't really take too much away from it, as in this is when we should have done this or that, because Pop had already made his mind up that the starters lost that game. They quit. There wasn't enough, whatever it is. We've seen it before where Pop just pulls everybody and never touch the court again. And so I think that was just a lesson.
Do you not think that whenever they brought their guys in, we should have done anything, or were you okay with the loss? You were just okay.
Because
this was out of hand.
It felt I felt exactly, I guess Pop, right? It's the guys just, they came out flat to start the second half. We were already down.
That's why
you can't reward Kata Bates or whoever else was in there that helps. Their reward for bringing them closer is okay. Now go sit. Now that you actually brought the game to a close a level, you owe it to them to see what else they can do. All right,
I think that's fine. But exactly what Jake said whenever he tweeted, these guys should have killed these guys. I feel they did their job. We put them in, they did their job, and then it's as soon as they brought their heavy hitters in, and I feel we should have made it, because then at some point when we bring those guys in, we know it's not going to work. As soon as they brought in Jokic and Gordon, and then we had our Trey and Bryn, and you knew it was not going to work. You knew it.
It's just fine. It's not many nights are you going to make a 30-point comeback in the fourth quarter,
right?
But
it was reasonable. 10 points with 5 minutes to go or something like that.
And I was joking. I was telling Victoria, I was if we literally don't let them score the rest of the quarter, we can win this game. But then Jokic comes in and Aaron Gordon, which they kind of said on the broadcast, it's it kind of is a kind of a win. We made them pull their starters back into the game. Mm-hmm. We've scared them. We made them feel uncomfortable, like you said. But I was gonna say, I think it's more of not that you don't take it away from the guys who are already playing. I just don't think you want to reward all your starters.
Yeah,
saying hey, you lost this game. Yeah, I think that's a more important thing. You don't just reward them by and that's why these guys saved your butt. Now you can go in there and finish it. It's kind of just a lesson. You don't even let it get to this point. Even when the shots aren't falling, the effort, the defense,
that's why I was saying that if anything, it was only KJ. He was the only person that I saw throughout that night that I was acceptable of, that I was saying that he was hitting his shots, he was doing what he needed to do to keep us in the game. At least in that first half. At least in the first half.
He just fools you because he hit a couple shots that his effort on the defensive end just goes right over your head.
Well, that's why I feel like Lonnie and Devin, I feel like we're having good games, and my gripe has been just in the comeback that we had two small guys out there, right? So
Well,
even if we
Lonnie
would,
and
even if we
Devin.
would have left, yeah, even if we would have left the three out there and then just pulled Bryn and Trey, you know what I mean? Pull Bryn and Trey, and then okay, go Lonnie, go Devin, and
Devin was already out there.
with the guys. Was
Yeah,
Devin playing?
Yeah,
Because
Devin.
Yeah.
I don't even think Lonnie played the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I just
Lonnie-
Lonnie
so-
Lonnie
Lonnie
played like that third quarter stretch, and then
that was it.
Devin helped close out. Like
Right, Devin
basic-
closed.
It was
Okay,
like
so
it was like a little bit of like honestly like when Devin got subbed out, Lonnie came in for like a couple minutes and then Devin came back in to close.
well, I really don't think he played the fourth at all.
I'm pretty sure he did, just like a little bit. It wasn't a lot for sure. I know that for sure.
Like even then, I mean that's a good example. If you pull one of them, like say Trey is running,
Yeah,
right, you know, or Bryn, like Bryn was hitting, so like put the ball in Lonnie or Devin's hands, and then let Bryn do exactly what he was doing, running around off the screens. And if he gets, I mean, he was hot for a little while, you know, he made a couple threes in a row, and then he started doing Bryn things, but.
Yeah, that was
like,
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He like those little floaters he'd been taking off the dribble, which it's like how we always say, it's like, why is it always Bryn that the ball he finds the ball in his hands, and he's the only player on the court who takes it upon himself to make something happen, and then it's like, then in mid play, like there you get the good where he's breaking somebody's ankles, looking at them on the ground, hitting a floater. And then you get the bad where like he does his little floater, he airballs a 5-foot floater, and it's like, oh,
he straight up aired that.
Or he throws the ball right out of bounds because there's just like that extra pass.
But it's again, it kind of goes to my point where it's like we put too much as like a fan base. I feel like we put too much blame on our role players. Like Bryn's. It feels like he's trying to do too much. It's because he's trying to do so much because he's trying to make up for everybody else. And it's those around him that's
funny that you say that our fan base says that, because that's all like I kept seeing like all these Lonnie tweets like throughout the week, and they're like, if Lonnie played like this every game, he would be an all-star, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I understand where everybody's coming from, but I think everybody, and I said it before, that I think like he could be that guy, but he's not that guy right now. Like he could be an all-star, yeah, if he played like that. But we had a guy like that named Ginobili that played like that every game off the bench, and that guy is going to be in the Hall of Fame, and everybody's not going to be that guy. Like sometimes I feel like they just got to tone it down. Like they just blame everybody quick, like our role players. Sometimes we just need role players, and we talked about this too whenever we were talking about Jake was like, get rid of him. And we're like, well, we don't need to get rid of him because we need some role players. Like, and I feel like
you have to fill your roster out.
Yeah, you have to. And like sometimes we just need the role players, and then everybody wants the role players to be all-stars. And when they don't play like all-stars, they're like, get them the hell out of here. And I'm like, well, that's not how this shit works.
Look at like the teams like Boston. Like they have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and then they're just mediocre. They're just average because
just like I was just looking at Dallas, how they're 3-7 in the last 10, and they have Kristaps and they have Luka, and they're 2 games ahead of us, or 3, 2 or 3 games ahead of us. So I'm just like, everybody needs to chill.
So that does bring me into my my other thing that because I'm glad we did get to talk about the that like second / like third unit lineup. I think that was something that kind of needed to be brought out because they played good this week for the most part. Now, like I said, like there's like the New York game where Trey went 1 for 8, but for the most part, when that end of the rotation lineup came out, they played really good. The thing that I'm most frustrated with this week is the play of Lonnie Walker. He had his 120-point game, which is good, but when Devin's out, he can't be this inconsistent. He can't. He literally cannot be. I'm not telling you that I need 20 points from Lonnie Walker every night. I'm telling you that I need Lonnie Walker to hit more than 1 shot a night.
Well, and I think when you put people,
that's my only thing right now.
Remember we talked about DeMar, how Juan was like, well, we just got to put the right people around him. I feel like sometimes when Lonnie doesn't hit, like he drives and he makes good passes. Like last night, he made a couple good passes, and everybody was bricking everything. Yeah. And when you have people like Trey out there, like I feel like last night especially, and I hate to be I feel like I'm just fucking wailing on Trey today, but it's like he has like wide.
He's if Trey's not an all-star, get him out of there.
Yeah, well he's like he has like wide open shots, and it's like, oh, it frustrates me the same way DeMar frustrated me. I'm like, God
take
dang,
the
just
take the
take the
three.
three, just take
Yeah.
it, please. And
Well-
like he will not, and then he dribbles, and like yeah, he's smart. He doesn't make turnovers, but it's just like that. I feel like that.
It's like we said, it
Ugh,
forces
it
Lonnie
just
to be a spot up shooter every play of the game, and it's like he drives and kicks, and then like
and then
nothing.
nobody
Yeah.
makes anything, and then you see the box score, and then Lonnie has 6 points and 1 assist, and you're like, well, Lonnie sucked tonight. Well, I mean, he probably could have had 6 points and 7 assists if we just had shooters, and it's super frustrating.
I get what you mean in that sense, that it's just like a like whenever Devin's out there like with Lonnie, it's
That's
a thing
why
where
I love them. I
it
love them
opens it up
together.
for
I
Lonnie
do.
that much more, because there's somebody
'Cause
who
he's
has
knockdown.
been somebody who's been that much of a knockdown shooter for us so far this year, that like when Lonnie needs to kick it out to somebody, he's looking for Devin, because Devin, when he's open, it's a pretty nice chance that he's making that shot, right? But my only thing is that like sometimes I just need need Lonnie to just add a little bit more. Not asking him to be like the carry job or anything like that. But if Lonnie can't produce for himself, then like we can't do anything out there. Now you're right. You're right. Like,
I'm gonna make a comparison for Lonnie, because and this is not like about talent wise or anything, because I think James Harden is a way better player than Lonnie probably will ever be. I mean, I hope not. I hope Lonnie could just find it someday. That'd be awesome. But I feel like Lonnie is a lot like James Harden in the sense of whenever he doesn't have the ball, he's kind of just like lollygagging around that 3-point line, when he should be making like hard cuts, and he should be trying to find off-ball screens for himself, or go set those off-ball screens so he can make back cuts. And I feel like too many times he's kind of just like standing in the corner, just a lot like James Harden. But then when he has the ball in his hands and he's aggressive, like good things always happen. So I feel like maybe we need to figure out what we need to do with him. Maybe he needs to be a point, or maybe he needs
it would make him more versatile.
Times.
It would make him more versatile, because like right now you can imagine 90% of his drives starting with him, the ball's in his hands, him trying to go wide and try to speed around somebody, and then that opens up his finishes or his passes or whatever. But like you were saying, imagine if you can have that, or you can find Lonnie Walker catching the ball where he's already in stride. You can find him coming off of a screen already ready to catch and shoot. Like put him in way more of those positions.
Yeah, like I think Devin is super good at that. Like, how I feel like, I don't know who said it, Juan maybe, was like, yeah, he doesn't need the ball in his hands. He's always just in the right place. Devin is really good at just running around. He doesn't need the ball because he's just like always moving, kind of like Rich Hamilton. Remember that guy was just fucking run and run and run. Like Devin's like this in the same way. He's just making good back cuts, and he always finds the ball, and he's always in the right place at the right time. I feel like Lonnie needs a little bit of that when he doesn't have the ball in his hands. I feel like when he has the ball in his hands, like the other night, what game was it? Where he scored like 12 in the first. He came out and was pretty hot in the first quarter.
Well, at both games against Denver, he came out firing.
Right, he's like aggressive when he wants to be aggressive, and then whenever the offense is kind of like on the opposite side of the floor, and he's just in the short corner, and he's kind of standing around. Like I do feel like he needs more movement, but I don't think that. I think that we could do things to help him, and we don't.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times Brand will come to the top and get the ball on the top, and they'll set his and he's aggressive, but just like Juan said, well, if nobody's going to be aggressive, then in his mind, he's like, well, I'm going to be, or that's how I feel like he's thinking. Nobody wants to do it. I have to go do it. And then we get pissed off for Brand doing it when nobody else will. But like, I feel like we need to help Lonnie. Just help him.
Mm-hmm. No, and I mean, don't get me wrong. Like in terms of like the spot up shooting and all that kind of stuff. Like, other than the off ball stuff, I think like Lonnie's not like, I don't fault Lonnie for any of that kind of stuff. Whenever I see nights and it's like 2 for 4 from 3 or 1 for 4 from 3 or whatever, that tells me that it's just spot up shots, right? That's just spot up. Like I don't see Lonnie taking off the dribble 3-point shots. So if I take those out of there and he ends up a night, instead of it saying 1 for 7, it's actually more like 1 for 3, 1 for 4. Well, that means that he only drove like 3 or 4 times that night. And that's like
that's
you said.
not what that means.
Well, in my head, that's like Like
What we just
what
talked
is
about.
well if he's not taking 3-point shots, like I mean he's taking some off the dribble mid ranges or he's attacking the rim, right? But that means that's only 4 shots. Like I need him.
But that's not. It's exactly what we just talked about. You're looking at the box score, but like how many times does Lonnie drive, kick, do something, and then like nothing happens because of the people around him?
But at the same time, how many times does Lonnie get the ball right off the 3-point line and get like the turnovers? Like there's like those little things that I need Lonnie to take that extra step on, especially because at this point, like I mean, yes, we can keep saying that like he's young, he's gonna like we're still taking that time, and I agree with you. Like he is young, he's only I think 22 years old, and we still have a lot of time if we sign him to an extension to keep building him up. But in terms of the second unit, who else on that second unit can we start to trust like that? You know,
Right.
Devin's taking his strides, but he can only do so much. You know, Trey Jones, like you're saying, he's not a 3-point shooter, so there's only so much that like Trey can be limited out there whenever he like is not in his best position either. So it's Lonnie, in my head.
He is a streaky shooter. He's never been just consistent, always hits. Like, you know, we talked about this, and I've said plenty of times, he's not a guy who's going to drop 12 to 15 every night. He's a guy who's going to drop 5 points one night and 20 the next, and then it's going to average out to be that 12 to 15. And it's like, that's just Lonnie. And for people to like, I feel like it's kind of what I was trying to say earlier, where it's like people are dogging our guys because they want them to be all-stars. They want them to be like all-star level. And, you know, they are who they are right now, right? Like, look when DJ was 22 years old. Did anybody?
Everybody wanted that guy gone. Remember?
Yeah.
They were everybody. I think Jake was talking trash, and he had to come on here and apologize. Said I was wrong about DeJounte Murray. Blah, blah.
I was skeptical. I was skeptical at the beginning of the year.
That's like
but do you see exactly what he said? Yeah, that is. Thank you.
Like everybody is 2 or 3 years away, or like DeJounte was where they are 2 or 3 years ago, and that's why he looks so much better. Is because he's the oldest one out of all of them, like that, and Jakob too. Like you can see the difference in those two guys, in Jakob and DeJounte, because they're
25 and they're our oldest guys.
Yeah, and there's just a clear difference. So like you kind of like gotta live with the young guys, and that's why it's so like exciting when you see Devin take the steps that he's had from year to year, because he is so young. But not everybody's gonna be. If Lonnie was that guy, he probably would have been a lottery talent himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now I will say what you were saying about like 21 night, 5 the next. I would love if he could give us a consistent 11 points a night. You know what I mean? 12 points a night. And I think if we could just make little tweaks to where he's scoring 2 to 3 points a quarter, we're in. You know, we can put ourselves in a good place. Like where Jake was saying, who can we rely on for the bench? It's like where you can start to bank on 10 to 12 every night from Lonnie. You know what I mean? He's close. He's close. He's really close.
Yeah, the lineups will help us. I feel like if you find the right people, like
you said, Devin. When Devin comes back and now he's back into the lineup, I think you're right. Like I think that'll help Lonnie. We've been missing Devin.
I've been saying this like you know, if you could go back and look at my tweets like from a while back, I was like, dude, I want Lonnie and Devin to play together. Like. And I even said DJ, like DeJounte, Lonnie, and DJ. I feel like when they run and they're moving, all of them, like good things happen. Like and it's like they all just make plays for each other. And really, it's DeJounte. DeJounte just sets everybody up so well right now. I feel like he knows his guys. Like I wish we could find our lineups, and so, I'm all for Derek. Just
that's my only thing though. Like Trey does that too. Trey does that too. I feel like even like last night, like when I was watching
Trey always has his eyes up when he catches the ball too.
It's always like he's such like a playmaker first that like it's one of the things that like I really love seeing Trey and Devin out there at the same time. It's one of the things that has easily become one of my favorite things that comes out of like any time of these type of games happen.
You're super right, and I keep saying that Trey's so good, like but it's just like whenever he Like he's good at getting people the ball, but then DeJounte, he'll make a pass and then somebody cuts, and then DeJounte's the one that ends up with the open 3 ball, and he's willing to take it, and it's a nice jumper, and it's like going down. Well, when we do that with Trey, he catches it, and then he'll just swing it, or
he tries that little
shoot
floater.
that ball.
I will say, Josh,
and that will help him. Like if he just develops a 3-point shot, then keep him out there. Then that's okay.
I will say, like, the lineups that we usually run in the first half is Trey, Devin, or Trey, Lonnie, and Devin. Bryn doesn't usually get that run until we always
lately, right? Lately it has been.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like that's what you're asking for. Like, let's get our lineups going. I think there's been the trend towards it being Trey, Lonnie, and Devin. It's just like when we go through those droughts and our offense stagnates like really bad, because it's done that quite a lot this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Pop goes.
It did last night, right? 20-0 run they went on, I think.
Yeah, and that's when Pop puts in Bryn. He's like, "Fine, I'll put Bryn in." Like, you guys are making me play Bryn, but like, I think like to your point, I think those lineups are starting to find their way, because
and it'll solidify more when we get a little bit beefier in the at the 4 and the 5.
Yes, and that's a new thing, right?
So that was something.
People, we're not even 100%, and we haven't been 100%.
We saw a lineup out there that we have never seen at all this year, and that was having Thad and Drew out there at the exact same time. And I cannot tell you if I thought I liked it or if I like hated it.
What game was that when they did that?
Just this last night.
In the second half. And I put Aaron Gordon back in and Jokic, and
I cannot tell you if like at points I was like, okay, this works, or if at points I was like, all right, don't ever show this to me ever again. Like, do not put this on the court ever again.
It was probably a match. It was probably a matchup thing, right? I mean, because I'd imagine like if we're playing Phoenix and they got Ayton and then they subbed him out with JaVale, like you're not throwing those two guys. Like I wrote in my notes, like, you were talking earlier about like most disappointed loss or whatever for the week, and I hated the Phoenix loss. I freaking hated the Phoenix loss. And I know it's because I'm a broken record.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. Exactly, and I know it's because of the exact same things that I talk about all the freaking time. But it literally was like, the same way that the second quarter Denver came in and just started raining threes, and it just kind of stopped everything that was happening. JaVale McGee comes in. The Spurs were rolling, man. They had really good momentum, good energy. They were hitting shots, like things were working in their favor. And then JaVale comes in and halts all of it. And then we were never able to get our engines going after that. And that was the roughest part for me, because it's like, how many times do I got to say that a guy like that makes a huge impact, and not from the point of view of, he's not like the most offensively skilled player. He's just, he's big. He's big, and he puts himself in good positions, or they put him in good positions, or whatever. So it's like that was what was killing me, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think my only reason why I didn't hate that Phoenix loss is just because I saw how good our last guys were doing. Like, I mean, that's always been my thing, that I've said at the beginning of the year, that I will continue to say, that like these guys are not that far off from number 3 to number 12 on this team. Like, they're not that far off in talent. And so then when things aren't working, just throw whatever out there and see if it works. And it worked that night. And I was just like, okay, I like it. I'm happy with tonight. I can't be mad. Like, I like, it's a thing for me that like, we have so many guys on this team that are not that far off from each other, that you can literally just say, we're going to figure out who the hot hand is tonight, and we're going to run that guy. Well, that's all I want.
How many times have I been saying that too? When we have the hot hand, I wish we would just, like, if Devin's on fire, if Lonnie's on fire, I wish we would do something for them instead of just saying, here, like, go do it yourself.
And it has been a small trend that like Pop has started to just keep these guys out there a little bit longer, instead of just going back to his old ways, to where it's just, all right, well, we're gonna bring you the first 5 out there again to see what they can do. Like he's slowly but surely added a little bit more.
I'm curious though. I'm curious because, like, you're talking about doing that, finding the hot hand, seeing how things are going. But then you have the flip side of that, which is where you were saying the bench unit brings the Denver game closer. Okay, now fill the starters back in. You
But
know what
I
I'm
was
saying?
saying
It's
I was
like,
saying fill the
where's
starters
the balance
as
between
in the
that?
one guy that was actually hitting shots. That was that and
Like,
Juan
again,
Juan said it. Juan said it that it was more like fool's gold, and I can start to see that now.
Keldon didn't really look
But
like
if
he was.
but if the unit was working,
Yeah,
But the
That's
unit
why
could work. The unit could work against one. Like the unit was matchup based. Our
yeah.
unit was good with their unit, but as soon as it switched,
In my head,
like I said, you knew it wasn't going to work.
in my head, you're switching Kata Bates Diop for Keldon Johnson. Kata Bates was like he's never bad. I don't think Kata Bates is ever bad, but I think if like he doesn't ever do anything that's like outstanding. He's never a hot hand. He never really has anything going for him. Crazy.
That's what I'm trying to tell you is that Keldon wasn't really doing anything besides spotting up and letting it fly. He hit three. I think he hit three of those threes, which awesome, right? But I don't know if he was attacking the basket or he was getting thrown around on defense just as much as everybody else.
But I'm not going to say he's hurt because
Hey,
obviously
but
he was enough. It was enough for him to play. Like he
that's what I'm
wasn't that
saying.
hurt,
Like,
but
I think that's why he
ankles-
didn't play.
And
Because
I can
he
get
was
that
hurt.
at the end of the night. Like
he
I'm
was just hurt.
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying. Like he was just the box score. You're like, oh, Keldon played like at least Keldon played well. He had the highest like score out of all of our starters. But then like I don't know, just watching it just felt like
It wasn't the same Keldon.
yeah, exactly. And he was getting thrown around by Aaron Gordon just as much as everybody else.
And I thought that would have been a good matchup, right? Whenever he was like, "Oh shit, he's just backing everybody down. Put Keldon on that guy," and it didn't work out either.
At that point though, like I mean, yeah, if nobody's hitting any, or if if nobody can stop anything, well then I just want Keldon out there in comparison to KBD because that's just in my head better for the players on the court overall on the offensive end. You know what I mean? Keldon just adds that much more.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Zach.
Yeah,
I'm just ready for Zach.
And then
I think he's gonna help everybody because I think he could
even
here's a nice little J. Woo.
Even seeing Jock do his thing in the G League these last couple games.
Jock, yeah, hey, that guy's going off. Right? Shout out to Jock over there in Austin.
Yeah, if hopefully Pop sees that and he's like, okay, well you're clearly like way too good for the G League, and I think we can probably
they brought him back today.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Well, we played tonight.
So there's a good chance that or maybe not a good chance, but I'd like to say that with what he did these last couple games in Austin, hopefully with the play that we've seen from Drew and then the fact that we just don't play Thad that much, hopefully that just means Pop's still kind of looking for a backup big, and maybe he does decide to give Jock some minutes.
Yeah, I mean this week there were some glimpses. So there are some times where when Jacoperto goes to sit down, like we are bleeding from the post. Like, man, it's just rough. It's so rough. Especially when Drew just looks flustered, right? Because it's like crazy, man. He'll get the ball in the post, and it looks like he can't even do like a pivot step, like a drop step, or like anything.
He needs to have that little hook every time, and
yeah, he just like sometimes he just gets real flustered.
That probably got yelled right out of his system.
Well, I don't know, because like I don't know. It's curious. Like when he went in his slump. It's just something that I hadn't seen from him before. I've seen him go in and maybe not make a huge impact, but he just looked bad. Like he was not helping the flow of the offense. It was just like stumbling through everything. But this week he had some okay showings. But I do think that we're still kind of searching. I mean, we went through a time where there was no Thad, right? And then now there is spots for him and spots for Drew. So I would hope that. I mean, and I think that they are trying to pace themselves over the course of the whole 82. I think we are going to see a little bit more Jock as we move forward. Well, kind of like Josh Juan was saying about like you're making me play Bryn, like maybe Jock's making them play him a little bit. You know what I mean? He's come in and done kind of what Drew did last year, which was take advantage of every opportunity. You always saw the energy. You always saw the
5 points in 3 minutes.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And
I'm curious.
people know more about Drew now, so it's harder for him to do that. So Jock's showing a lot of those good signs.
I'm curious. I didn't see any of the G League. I obviously I saw like his shooting and like the scoring like highlights of his G League performances for Jock, but I'm curious to see how he does because he's a big guy. So I want to see him on the defensive end. I want to see him help us like rebounding wise, getting bodies out the paint.
In my personal
Ty
opinion,
tweeted yesterday that because he's like covering, both of them. He's trying to whatever.
Yeah.
So he tweeted yesterday that one thing that Josh gonna needs to do. He looks slow. Obviously, he's a big guy, the same way any big guy looks. But in those pick and rolls, those guys are blowing past him. Like, and they were saying like, yeah, his scoring is great, but he's gonna need to get a little faster on the defensive end.
Which is
That's
probably
exactly
why
what I
he
was-
never plays. Because
Because he does, like, he moves like a big man, but I feel like he'll still benefit us because he could shoot the ball.
I'd assume,
another Bryn, but at the big.
It's no different than Doug because damn, everybody blows past Doug.
It's gonna be Bryn, Doug, and we're gonna run a lineup out there. It's gonna be Bryn, Doug, and Jock.
They're all gonna be standing at the 3-point line. Everybody's gonna be in the paint after they blow past them.
But yeah, so I think just like Josh was saying earlier, though, we do play tonight. We'll go ahead and
actually to that point, then like maybe Zach Collins, then like if you play Zach and Jock together, maybe Zach has the more of the burden on bigs like that, and he's moving around a little bit more mobile.
That's what I've said. That's what I've said. Zach Collins is going to bring the size at the 4 position and let our 5, because we're not going to be unless we go and get a guy who is 7 feet tall. We're not going to have the same presence as Jakob Poeltl on the second unit. So it's just going to have to shift the focus a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the things that I'm going to be looking forward to going into next year is just seeing who we can add to the interior defense. Because at the moment, it definitely just feels like Yak is the only guy that's good enough to play inside the paint.
It's definitely the toughest part of being a Spurs fan for me this year is knowing how weak we are down low, because I just feel like it bleeds into so many other things. They're talking about optimal lineups and having Lonnie Walker have opportunities, and I feel like all of our issues and lack of depth at that position bleeds into all of the problems that we're talking about.
I think I should be the coach for the San Antonio Spurs.
Right. But yeah, I think we can go ahead and start looking into next week's showing.
I will say this about like last week's games. You made a lot of points like talking about like the other guys, and you're like, I love it when the other guys step up, and then you're like, I look at these box scores and it's 1 for 8, 1 for 4, 1 for 5. I don't feel like people put too much like yeah, it has to be like a whole team effort. I know we're not the most talented bunch in the league, but
yes,
I look at DeJounte. He has to. It's unfortunate, but like he has to be 28-8.
Yeah,
for us to win.
And he had kind of a quiet week this week, and because of that,
but we failed.
I will say, I'm gonna say this though.
I'm telling my point.
Boy,
go ahead.
Be quiet, Jake.
Go ahead.
DeJounte had nights where it was like 13, 5, and 5, and we lose by 5 points. You know what I mean? And it's like DeJounte. It's unfortunate. But if you're gonna be that guy, or at least an all-star,
well,
right?
You said it a whole bunch of times, Juan. If DJ don't go, we do not go.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I just, as like a Spurs fan, it's like, yes, I'm like, I don't want to ever like talk bad about our guys or be critical, because it's like
I love to talk bad about our guys.
Yeah, I love everybody on our roster, and it's like, it's not Drew's fault that we had to put him in the starting lineup. It's not Keita Bates' fault that we had to put him in this. We didn't sign those guys to be starters. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's just the team we're working with. Like, they're playing their roles, and that's fine. But like DeJounte is supposed to be the guy. It's kind of like you had just said, like with the way you said it, it just like came to my mind. It's why I wanted to bring this point up. You're like, well, it's all these other guys. Like, they need to step up, or like they had bad nights. Our bench production. It's like, how many excuses do we hear for guys like LeBron, where it's like, it's always the other guys on the team. It's never like the best players. It's never like on the best player. It's always like, well, maybe if this guy doesn't shoot 1 for 8, it's like, well, he's just a role player. He's the 8th guy off the bench. You know what I mean? Like, it's not his job to win every game. And I just felt like it's okay to be not like super critical of DJ, but to like say like he needs to be like on. He needs to have it going to be 28-8, the triple doubles, and that like translate easily into those wins. Like, you can see the difference.
Yeah.
And that's funny you said that, because Jake's always ragging about Lonnie, and he's literally our 7th guy.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
he talks about nobody else.
I need
And Derek stepped up. No, we haven't. Nobody's talked
so
about Derek.
that's exactly what I that's
Derek
exactly
has
what I
that.
was going to say is that like so the difference at the moment is that like and this is why I feel like our games are turning a little bit more our way than they have been losses. When I look at the last 2 weeks at least, we're seeing more wins than we're seeing losses, right? And it's because Derek has stepped up. It's because DeJounte can have just a smidge quieter night because Derek is now putting up 20. Because Derek's now starting to feel more comfortable being more of his own and putting up close to the same numbers that DJ's been doing. So we don't have to see DJ with crazy stats anymore, but we're just seeing DJ put up solid numbers and we see Derek put up solid numbers. And now that's why, like in my head, I was never expecting DJ to be putting up 25, 8 and 8, or 23, 8 and 8, whatever it could be, Never expecting him to be putting up those type of numbers to see us win games. No, I'm just saying that's just not what I thought like we would need to do to win, because I feel like it should be a whole thing where we don't need to see one guy put up crazy numbers to see these guys win. We should be able to see
two. We need two guys leading the charge, and then everybody else just needs to fill in the holes.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying, but when the other guys aren't, because they're not every night guys. They're role players. So when they're not going, your best guy needs to get going. Like he has to.
Yeah, and I mean
it's just determining who is the every night guys. Like right now, it needs to be Derek and DJ, especially if you're going to start them together.
And I wish, and I've been saying this too, I think since last year, like, and I want this year. I think I talked about it a couple weeks ago. I still would love DJ, Lonnie, and Devin to start, because I still think Derek could put up his 25-5 no matter where he's at.
That's what I was talking. This is what I was talking to our dad about the other day, because I'm here in New Mexico with him. He's out working right now, but we were watching the game last night, and I was just telling him how like it would be so nice to see Trey and Derek out here just killing second units. I would love to see that because I think that could, like, imagine just seeing like the same thing how we've been seeing the last 20 years with Gino. I'm not telling you Derek is Gino, but I'm telling you that he could be running that 6-man that like could just kill second units because he's that smart. He knows how to run an offense.
He would make a lot of them look foolish.
Exactly. And I like,
especially the little guy. Like last night, what the heck is his name?
Marcus Howard, right?
Not Marcus Howard, the little guy on Denver.
Campazzo.
Campazzo. God dang, we just like let him run around and do whatever the hell he wants. We do not do.
We let New York do whatever they wanted. We let Denver do what they wanted. Let Chris Paul do whatever he wanted. So like that was the theme of the week, is when we were letting the team just get to their comfortable positions. What the hell else do we expect? What else do we expect? So like that was the most disappointing part.
This wasn't this last Phoenix game, but the first Phoenix game that we played, when I saw Cameron Payne put up 20 points on us, I was angry. I was so angry because we should not be letting Cameron Payne, of all people, put 20 points on us. And like, if Derek's out there,
I like Cameron Payne.
If Derek's out there running against Cameron Payne, you think Cameron Payne can lock up Derek, or do you think Derek's gonna destroy Cameron Payne and then keep Cameron Payne from scoring 5 points at the most? That's definitely been one of the things that has popped in my mind, that like if Derek does start running the second unit, we could kill people like that. And that's how I felt playing against Denver. That's why I was pretty disappointed seeing us not be able to hold down their role players, because it was like, dude, these guys are third stringers. These guys are guys that do not get rotational minutes on any other team when healthy.
Everybody got pulled because exactly that. We were losing. There wasn't Aaron Gordon. It wasn't. I mean, Jokic. Obviously, he's going to be. He's
going to Jokic, right?
Like it was. Yeah, like you said, it was third stringers coming in.
Give it to them, because Jokic was setting everybody up. Jokic was, god dang, they were all wide open.
Don't get me wrong. Like those guys. They had, in a sense, like the right people to do the right job, because you're just letting Jokic do Jokic things and have people who can shoot the ball. You know, not literally not be able to do anything else because that Marcus Howard guy is a 5'10" guard. He's not going to play defense. He's not going to be a primary ball handler. But if he's just running around and then Jokic just finds him and he just has a ball in his hand right away for an open shot, like I get that. But I'm saying that could have been more that we could have done. Like I feel like in my head, our depth should have been the reason why we would have taken 2 games against Denver, you know?
Yeah,
and
depth was the reason. And depth was the reason we won the first game. Like it was apparent that they weren't able to keep up with us for the 48.
And then, like to your point, Jake, and like we've all kind of like touched on this a little bit. I think my starting like lineups and my bench lineup, like season preview, was Derek White being a point guard off the bench.
Yes.
I think it's more of like, I guess like Pop is keeping like. I mean, I don't know how many games we come out and we start off like really well. We get up to like early leads, and then the bench comes in and we lose it. And you know, the years pass, like those like later Timmy years, like the starting lineup always used to kind of play even. It had like Danny and like guys like Tiago, stuff like that. Like not always like
Tiago,
like number people, but like Timmy and Tony, they could help just keep like the starting lineup even. And then when like Manu and Ginobili and like everybody else came in, then it was just
Manu
like
and Ginobili.
Oh, Manu and Patty. Manu and Patty comes in like you know what I mean? Like the plus minus for the bench. We had like the best like bench like scoring margins like in the league for years, right? And I kind of would like to see us like experiment with that and see like what would happen if we replaced like put Derek on the bench. Like the bench unit would like stabilize a little bit more, and we'd have like more of like an even game the whole game. As opposed to our starting lineup either jumping out, getting early leads,
being top heavy.
Yeah, top heavy like that.
And I think this year, and I feel like if we would have ran, like I said, if we were to go with the starting lineup that I just gave you earlier with Lonnie and Devin in the starting lineup, and we still had Patty, like I feel like Derek and Patty would be like perfect.
Yeah.
Just because Ron brought up Patty and him made me miss him.
You know, I literally said it earlier that I was like I think Pop has been like adding, changing up lineups, and like it's been like a progressive thing over this year that it's just like looked better in my head. That's one thing that I think actually like annoyed me, because at the beginning of the year, I'm pretty sure we were running stagnated lineups or stagnated minutes with Derek and DJ. Like it was either or on the court at the same, or either, you know, both of them are on the court or one of them's on the court, right?
It was before Trey started to get consistent minutes.
That's like, and like, I'm glad Trey's getting consistent minutes, but I still want to see that happen. I don't want to see, I really don't like seeing a minute when DeJounte and Derek are not on the court at the same, like, you know, at any point in the game, really. But at the same time, I'd much rather, like, if anything, I want to see DJ come out for Trey because the spacing, right? Because Derek's just that much of a shooter compared to DJ. And then, like, that's when, all right, so, you know, DJ comes in for the first 6 minutes, Derek stays out for the 10, and Trey's in for, you know, the last 6 minutes, right? Or whatever. And then finally, maybe those 2 minutes at the end of the first quarter, like the 2 minutes that you don't see either one of them, and that's okay. But that's something that I'd rather see. Like, I'd rather see that instead of seeing both of them come out at the same time, like, and then just seeing Trey, Lonnie, and Devin try to do whatever they can to continue whatever spark that the first unit had, you know? Like, I think that's one of the things that I'd rather like to see. Like, if one of our guys is hitting, if DeJounte's hitting, then maybe we don't need to sub in Trey right away. Maybe we just keep those guys running out there until we know that, like, DeJounte's finally, like, getting a little gas so we can bring Trey in, you know? I think that's something that I'd like to see. It's definitely a thing where experimental lineups, I'm glad that they're happening right now. I'm glad that we're doing things that are, like, changing it up. And I really hope that we just continue to do stuff like that. I hope we don't go back to the same patterns that we've been doing, you know? I'd much rather just see it.
Talking about, like, the pattern when we went on a 4-game winning streak?
No, before that.
Oh, okay.
You don't want us to win.
Yeah.
I want us to win.
It's important to know, like, we missed Jakob for a lot of stretch of time. Doug missed a lot of games. Devin's missed some games. Like, I know every team deals with injuries, so it's not
Zach's
always
missed all the games.
Yeah, so it's not gonna always be perfect. I agree though, Jake. Like the Derek and DeJounte like staggering. I would personally like to see that. It would like fix like a lot what Josh is saying. Or if you throw Brent out there, at least he's next to one of those guys.
Mhm.
But I agree with that. Like I'd like to see that more. It's just kind of like how we talked about. It's like, well, if you put Trey next to either one of those guys, then it's like right back to like
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest though. Like Josh was saying, or about like when Trey kicks out, like, or sorry, when they kick out to Trey, he's not really the shooter or whatever. But maybe that doesn't have to be his role. If like Derek White will shoot, and even DJ, man, like I know we say DJ's not a shooter, but
He's a shooter.
I have not seen any hesitation from him
He's
on
been
the
hitting.
perimeter this year at all.
I will say, I think I don't remember the exact numbers, but I know there's a stat that I saw from, I believe, Noah Magaro George that talked about DJ's like last couple stretches of spot up 3-point shots, and they've been better. They've been like 40%, I think.
yeah, he's like shooting 40% on spot ups.
And that's good.
Yeah.
That's
perfect.
And
That's all you
the
can do.
percentage. The percentage is good, but even more than that is that like I just don't see any hesitation to shoot the ball.
It's the confidence,
all.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's with somebody in front of him. That's with a wide open shot. That's from the corner. That's from the top. Like he's just ready to let it fly. So, I mean,
Yeah.
Boy,
Exactly.
if DJ gets a 3-point shot, that guy's gonna be.
Well, the one game we won against Denver, he shot 3 of 8 from 3, and in that fourth quarter, he was trying to put the game away from 3. He was like letting them fly, and he had just hit like a couple or at least one like right there, like at the start of the fourth, end of the third, and like when he's going like on 3-point, like he's unstoppable. He's the best player in the NBA
By far.
by far.
Well, I think we can go ahead and start going into the. I have been kind of saying a couple minutes ago, but I think finally we can go into the to next week's games, right? Because I think honestly, I feel like these games are going to be a little bit. I wouldn't say one-sided. I would say that we're going to kind of know how these games are going to go, pretty much.
All dubs.
We're gonna we on Sunday we play against the New Orleans Pelicans.
That's a
On
dub.
Wednesday we play against the Charlotte Hornets, and then on Friday we play at the Utah Jazz. So I think I think it'll be pretty easy to just say that we can win against the Pelicans. They don't have Zion. Brandon Ingram hasn't been good. Their best player has been Jonas Valanciunas, which can actually be a problem. But I think we can hopefully see Jakob stop Jonas Valanciunas enough for our perimeter guys to be able to.
The last time we saw
help the
Jonas, he
Pelicans.
dropped like 20 and 20 on us in a play-in game.
And just the other day, didn't he
Mhm.
hit like how many threes did that guy hit?
yeah.
That's
7
hard.
or
That's
8 or
tough.
something.
Yeah, that's tough. We can't defend that 3-point line. So
I don't think it's something to say that we can just ignore Jonas, but I think if we can literally just beat everybody else on the Pelicans, we should be fine. A 20 and 20 game from Jonas Valanciunas shouldn't be the reason why we lose against the Pelicans. You know what I mean?
Maybe it just depends. I mean, when we can see these size matchups, and Jakob is not a concession when size, against Jonas, but when we have these discrepancies, it's just like how Sean always says, like, sometimes 2 points is more than 2 points. You know what I mean? So it's like not just Valanciunas going off for 20 and getting 20 rebounds, but it's like putting consistent pressure on your team for 48 minutes. It's like it just opens opportunities. Rebounds. Yeah, exactly, right. So it just depends. It can be enough to beat us. We'll hopefully it's not. Let me say him putting his pressure, him doing his pressure in tandem with Brandon Ingram doing things that he needs to do, and maybe a role player hitting some shots. I'm not saying like Jonas is going to be enough all on his own, but I mean it definitely can open doors for things that we don't want.
Open the door for an L.
I look at the Denver game last night. Jokic put up his numbers, but it's like you would say like, oh well, they're playing guys like Marcus Howard and some guy Highland. And it's like we should win that game. It's just Jokic.
Guy Highland.
You know what I mean? It's just Jokic, and then we got blown out by 30. So it's like,
hey man, chill out with that, dude.
No, I get
like
what
you
you
said,
mean.
like the idea of just like, oh yeah, it's just going to be Jokic, and then the way we kind of just let people get going, it's a little worrisome.
That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see the most. And I don't not to get like too far ahead, but just thinking about the first two games, the New Orleans and the Charlotte, is just making people feel uncomfortable. And I know I've said that before too. I mean, because we talked about Trae Young, we've talked about Luka Doncic, and just trying to make them not feel like they're just doing whatever the hell they want. Same thing with that. That's what I want to see the most, because that's what I saw the lack of for these last 4 games.
Yeah. No. I think I mean this is the game for us to take into our hands, like to be like, okay, well, we lost this bad against Denver. We need to just whoop New Orleans. Like, this has to be that game for us to just come in and be like, we're not going to take an L against New Orleans. You know, like if we do, then you know, like there's got to be something that we have to change, right? Like we need to figure something out, right? But like, at this moment in time, you know, we took a bad L, and just like how Pop said about how Denver took their L and reacted appropriately, we got to do the same thing. We took an L. We need to react appropriately against New Orleans. We cannot let a Zion Williamless team beat us. Like,
yep. Not to mention its division. Not to mention that they only have one less win than we do, so we can't afford to lose these games.
Just to kind of stay on the Pelicans real quick, I just want to know like how y'all feel about Zion's situation. How y'all think about like what do y'all think about like this whole situation like as a whole? You know, like he's definitely, you definitely know that he's got the talent, but like the longevity and all that kind of stuff.
Trying to get traded.
You think he's trying to get traded?
Yeah, it's just like Kahoo. He's like, I'm hurt. No, I'm still hurt. Oh wait, I'm still hurt. Oh yeah, wait, I'm still hurt. Oh wait, yeah, I'm still hurt. And then eventually he's gonna get out of there.
He does weigh like, I can't even tell you how much that guy weighed. Probably like close to 250. Yeah, like 250, 300 pounds. Like he could be still hurt, but I just think he's young, and I think he doesn't realize. I feel like his whole life he's been getting away with it. Like, yeah, I'm bigger than everybody. Blah blah blah. Like, he's gonna have to take care of his body. Like, he cannot stay this heavy and then jump as high as he does every single night without his knees eventually just blowing the hell up, you know, or like his ankles, because I think that's what's wrong with him right now, right? Or is
it's a foot? Yeah, it's like a foot thing.
Yeah, you know, so like his lower body, it's gonna take a toll being that heavy. Like, I think with him, I don't know if he's trying to get traded, but he needs to be somewhere where they're on his ass saying, bro, this is not healthy for you. Like, maybe it's not New Orleans. Maybe they're just letting him do whatever the hell he wants.
Well, that's what I had read. Is like they had tried to get on him. Who did they just fire this last year?
Alvin Gentry.
Or I don't think it was Gentry. Didn't they have Van Gundy?
Yes, Steve Van Gundy.
Steve.
Yeah, and I think it was because like he was just trying to get all that babying out of their organization, and
they're like, nah, dog.
Yeah, the players weren't happy with it. Zion, I guess, wasn't too happy with it, and it's like, yeah, I don't think he has people in his ear that are like letting him know. And then when the organization, because I think now it's like the organization is just trying to baby him and like let him do it however he wants,
and that shit is not gonna fly.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's because they already lost Anthony Davis. So I don't think they want to lose.
I agree with all that. Like,
because I think a lot of it, like just like one saying, like they did lose Anthony Davis. Can you imagine if they lost Zion? Their ass would be in Seattle like this.
Yeah.
Pelicans.
No kidding. Like I mean, I think the biggest thing right now is literally like how this front office is dealing with the situation. Like, in terms of just like the quote unquote like bad front offices of the league, like at times, like I want to be like, okay, well, Sacramento is like, they make poor decisions all the time. Indiana hasn't been making the best decisions. Minnesota clearly, like, Cat's frustrated right now, you know, and they have to try to figure out what they're gonna do. But like, I haven't seen anything to the extent of what New Orleans is doing right now, like, to where it feels like their star player, their number one pick, is literally like like Juan said, like he wants to get traded. It does feel like that. It feels like that at times where it's just like, well, this guy
But
does not want to be
it's
in New
harder.
Orleans.
It's harder. It's way harder to see the other side of that when he's not playing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you have to search through all of his missed games to find the moments of like, think about Valanciunas, Brandon Ingram, and Zion Williams together. It's a solid group. You know what I'm saying? But he's not on the court. So I mean, it's just I don't know. I don't pay attention as deep to like that kind of stuff. So I don't see too much of like his point of view of do I think he wants to be out of there. I just think it's unfortunate. He's missed so many times. If you even if he wants to be out of New Orleans, if you tell me that he is purposefully sitting out all these games, not purposefully because he probably is nagging his foot is a nagging injury, but like that he is missing all of this time this young into his career. I wouldn't find that very believable that a guy who wants to be worth millions of dollars and wants to be a big name in the league is going to just sit out, because then you stop talking about him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I want him to be healthy so that we can see what he's got.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if I would go that far to say that he's like.
I think when I
for
say
sure
like that,
for sure to say that he's faking it or that he's doing any of that, but just the idea of him wanting to be gone. I mean, and maybe he does, but I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is like
he doesn't care enough to get right because he's in New Orleans.
maybe yeah. Oh yeah. Now the idea of him needing to change his habits
Scenery.
is probably it's probably true for sure. I mean, if you have nagging injuries again and again and again, all to the lower parts of your body, yeah, for sure. But I don't know, like when you're talking about like, or when Jake's talking about the mismanagement, it's like, what could they do? He got into their organization and got hurt like right away. It's like what do they do?
Well, they definitely haven't built a team around him that's like.
I'll trade them.
You can't build a team around him if he's not on the court.
Well,
You know
yeah, like I mean, I get that. Like I it's still a factor though that like
other than had Lonzo and Brandon Ingram, and this is his third year, so like they've had like younger.
How many games has he
him.
played in his 3 years?
I think 100. I think he played like 20 the first year, not the full season last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that's nothing.
Hasn't played a game here.
It's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, no, I mean, like don't get me wrong. Like it's a thing where like you said, it's a process or whatever.
If he gets at Greg Oden, I'll be so super sad because
yeah.
Either way, I think some of it I definitely can say like comes down to exactly what you're saying, Chris, on how like it's just hard to manage stuff like that. But I feel like some of it does come from mismanagement. Like you don't have like the right people in the front office to put a guy like him in the best position possible in New Orleans right now.
Maybe, and I mean, and they're in the third year. They're already on their second. He's already on his second head coach. So there's a lot of instability there.
Third head coach.
There you go. So I mean, I would say that is a little bit of like, you want stability, especially with a player that you're hoping is going to bring your stability. From that end, you want the stability above him. So maybe they're searching for that, and that's hurting how he sees the organization. But I just think it's exasperated by the fact that we can't see him play yet. Things smooth over way faster when they're winning games, or when he's playing well, or when they're playing well, or whatever.
And when he does play,
it's just hard. It's hard to have that conversation yet.
I think in both years he's averaged like 24 plus like a game.
Yeah.
So like he can play. He's a monster.
Well, it's a good thing we're not playing against him. Going against New Orleans later today at 5, right? But we can go ahead and go to the Charlotte game, right? Playing against LaMelo. That's going to be a fun game, honestly, just because I haven't been able to watch a lot of LaMelo ball, and I know he's been pretty solid this year. I'm
ready for DJ to lock that fool up.
I hope DJ locks him up. I hope we don't see anything from Scary Terry. I don't know if Gordon Hayward's healthy or not. If somebody could pull up the injury report stuff for the for Charlotte.
Well, to be honest, he hasn't been healthy in like 5 years. So.
Yeah, that's like that's why I question it, because I don't know, because Gordon Hayward's a good player. He's a good player, but he's just not completely healthy. But either way, Charlotte as a whole, though, I enjoy a lot of those players. I think one of my favorite players is probably Miles Bridges. That forward for them. He's pretty athletic. He's pretty cool.
One of my favorite players. You say that shit every week.
My gosh.
Yeah, no kidding.
I wonder if my favorite player is not on San Antonio Spurs.
Well, I mean, I watch a lot of the stuff across the league too, and you know, coming into it as a bit of a youngin now. I want to see a lot of like these young guys that I see get drafted or whatever, and see how they do, right? So, yeah. Miles Bridges was one of the first guys.
Oh
my god.
Real quick. December 10th, as of December 10th, Nick Richards is day-to-day. He's a center, and PJ Washington also day-to-day. That's the only thing that they got on their IR.
Okay. So they still have their core pretty much intact. Then, I think PJ Washington is definitely a rotational player. I couldn't tell you if Nick Richards is a rotational player for them. So that's one of their big. Not like he's not like the biggest guy, but that's one of their big guys. That's going to be out, one of their forwards / centers. So that'll be something that we can definitely take advantage of. In knowing that we'll, I don't know, maybe we play against Kai Jones. I don't know who their backup center is, or if
I think he's still out there in Austin. I mean Austin in the G League.
Yeah, maybe. Either way. I think the Charlotte game will be pretty fun for us to just see this young player be able to go out and do his thing, right? Honestly,
they always talk about like DeJounte's like shooting numbers, and he takes 15 shots to score 15 points. LaMelo Ball is only averaging 20 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds on 41% shooting from the field, and they hyped this guy up like crazy. I know, like, it's a different because this is his second year compared to DeJounte, but like,
and then aren't they like? I mean, what's Charlotte's record? You know,
15-13.
And I could probably guarantee you that he does not play the defense that DeJounte Murray plays.
Oh, yeah. Definitely not. But I will say, I mean, at this point in time, like now, 41% shooting is pretty atrocious. That's something that I'm not going to tell you is good. But he's putting up those numbers. They're winning ball games. It's something that, like, when you got a guy like that, it's easy for people to just get behind that and be like, he's a good player. He's doing good things right now, and they're winning games.
I mean, they're 500 roughly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still at the moment. You can still say that they're in that playoff race.
For sure. And they have a lot of depth. I mean, 20 points a game for Miles Bridges, 20 a game for LaMelo, 17 for Terry Rozier, 17 for Gordon Hayward, 16 for Kelly Oubre. Like that's a pretty solid fine right there.
I remember when I won.
He's got
Kelly
weapons.
Oubre on my team.
That's a player you could get behind, right, Jake?
So like Chris was saying, like Chris was saying, they have a lot of guys that they that are putting up numbers and, you know, putting it up pretty efficiently. You know, it's other than LaMelo, and LaMelo's still dishing out the ball pretty well. He's still doing his thing that's like contributing to an offense as a whole instead of just shooting, right? So I'm excited to see us play against Charlotte. I'm excited to see what we can do against them.
Yeah. So like what Chris pointed out,
the good thing is it doesn't look. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Chris pointed out, like, they have freaking 5 guys averaging darn near 7. Like Kelly Oubre's at 16.9. So like 5 guys at 17 points a game. I don't know like how deep their rotation goes or like the role players that they play, but like that's pretty impressive. You know, to have that many people scoring like that high.
That's high. 17 is good.
And so I'm thinking that maybe they don't have a lot of depth. Maybe we can. Like,
yeah. It's a pretty big drop off after. So PJ Washington drops to 10 points a game. Then they have Cody Martin at 9, who's a small forward. Mason Plumlee, who that might be their backup center. Mason Plumlee at 6.8 a game. Jalen McDaniels 5.5 a game. Ish Smith at 4.8 a game. So yeah, it is a pretty big drop off. Yeah,
hey,
and he can get hot too.
That's funny that you say that, because Kelly, just, you know, you talked about Kelly, and he is, how old is he? He's not young,
27,
like young, but he's not old, right? So that's another player. Like, that's why you don't give up. Like we and Juan keep saying, you don't give up on our guys because he's like another one of those players that was like streaky, and then like look at him now. If we could have Lonnie or Devin or whoever, like if we have them by 26, 27, averaging 17 points a game, and we keep our team intact, I think we could easily be like that. Like, okay, DJ at his 20 plus, and then we got Lonnie, then we got Devin, then we got
that's the hope.
or Josh, because we still got Josh, right? Like in 5 years, Lonnie would be 27. Devin will be right behind him at, whatever, 25 probably, and then Josh will barely be 23.
Yeah.
And I feel like easily we could be like that, man. And then just say we get a Miles Turner, somebody like that.
We didn't talk about that at all. We'll go ahead and finish up this recap real quick, and then I think we can kind of just.
I didn't mean to veer off, but you just talked Kelly Oubre, and I heard his numbers, and I was like, wow, that's.
I'll say this real quick about the Charlotte. Maybe we can take advantage of them because they are so reliant on their starters, I guess. Because I was just looking at Kelly Oubre's like last couple of games. He played 41 minutes in the last 2 games each, and 42 in an overtime game. He's putting up numbers, right? He had like 35 in the overtime game, 22 back tonight in the 41 minutes. But like, if their guys are playing 40 minutes a night, like
that's got to be how we beat them.
They're all babies, man, and sometimes I wish we get a little bit of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're all young kids just running around for 40 minutes, and they definitely can do it. Like I would love to see DeJounte Murray play 30 plus minutes. Or
we'll have a couple days rest after we play New Orleans. We'll have New Orleans today. We have New Orleans today, and then a few days off. So maybe we match their starters minutes with our starters minutes.
That's true.
Is LaMelo he wasn't like on the report at all for anything because he's missed the last 4 games.
Maybe he just got cleared.
I was looking on ESPN. I can, maybe, but I can look somewhere else.
I'll check their Twitter.
Yeah, so I mean, just to kind of wrap up the Charlotte thing while y'all are looking up that quick injury report on LaMelo. I mean,
it's funny. 23 minutes ago, we have recalled Kai Jones.
Kai Jones. See, so I was right when I was saying that. Man, I do know
Kai
a little
Jones
bit of
versus Jock Lando.
I do know a little bit of my NBA knowledge, right? A little bit about growing that knowledge over the course of the entire NBA instead of just the San Antonio Spurs.
So LaMelo Ball on December 4th, it says he was out. COVID-19 was like the reason, and actually it was Ish Smith, Mason Plumlee, Jalen McDaniels, Terry Rozier, and LaMelo. As of the 6th, we're all out. Expected to be out. Expected to be out until at least December 15th is the thing. So that's like right around that day.
Yeah. So even then, honestly, right there, that's like maybe we play against a quote unquote fully healthy Charlotte team, but at the same time, that's a fully healthy Charlotte team that's barely coming back from COVID protocols, or we're playing against a bunch of third stringers. And that's immediately just tells me that's got to be the clear check of the week, right? That's got to be we get in, do our business, get ready for you.
To me, that's thinking about. You have to beat the Pelicans, then you have to worry about Charlotte. But those both look like winnable games going into that Utah game.
Yeah, and so
I do want to just say though, like Miles Bridges, that guy, like he's got a good motor. He's got good like for sure. Yeah. Obviously his physical skill set. He's got a good like mental like I think he would try to take over a game. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of thing. So like that, I don't know, man. Like
that's called
he's one of my favorite players too. He's one of my favorite players too.
There
you go. And you're on that Miles Turner talk. Like people have been talking about the idea of Miles Bridges getting max offers from teams next year. And
I don't know if I don't know if I want to give Miles Bridges a max contract, but I definitely would love to see Miles Bridges on my team next year. That's a spot filler right there. That's a 4, like a 4 that has the size.
They have him listed as a small forward, but that like Jake just said, that's a guy that you can put in at the power forward and not feel like you're losing something.
Yeah. So I mean that's
because dunk over anybody.
And exactly, I honestly like, all last year when we were talking about trying to get John Collins, that was like, for me, I was like, bro, having that lob threat ability is something that we just do not have. Like, I really want Keldon.
Anyways.
We won't. I know we won't.
Hey,
but
Lonnie
like,
went to DJ the other day.
yeah, there we go. Right. Like, I really want Keldon to just add that to his game next year. Like, that's something that, like, if there's a pipe dream somewhere, it's that Keldon gets the lob threat ability, that he just wants to run and tell DJ to just throw it up every single play, and Keldon just yams on people.
And 20 pounds of muscle.
Exactly. But so yeah, we can definitely take care of business for these first 2 games going into this very tough last game of the week, which will be against Utah. Another one of my favorite players in the league is Donovan Mitchell. But you know, I really want to see us compete against this Utah team, because this is a team that generally has the depth every year, and when healthy, you can't count Utah out, because Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert are that good. You know, they're both that good, and then they have a roster that adds to it, that complements to it, in terms of like Mike Conley, Joe Ingles, Jordan Clarkson. You know, like just a bunch of guys that fit around those 2 players very well. So.
And everybody's talking about Phoenix again, and Golden State obviously is resurging, but Utah is right behind them doing their thing.
Exactly.
And real quick, they only have a Udoka Azubuike as a
injury.
Yeah.
So
they're on a 7-game win streak. So I don't know who they're playing before, like our game, but that's a game that always scares me. I never really used to be scared of Utah, but then they've like beat us like the last 10 games. So
they play the Clippers on Wednesday night, and then they'll play us on Friday.
So they get a lot of reps.
Both home games for them.
So they get a lot of.
They're about to start like a 4 or 5 game homestand with the Clippers.
Remember last year they just blew us out by like 80.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it can happen again.
So this is definitely the one. This is definitely the game that I want to see us come out being competitive, but I'm not going to be angry with the results. Like any
I'm
type
always
of.
angry at L's, dude.
I can't be angry if we're playing good and still can't.
We competed against Phoenix and we beat Golden State. So like the top of the West, like it shouldn't scare that much. It's kind of just the inconsistencies, the like doing the little things, not letting like teams get to their spots. So
yeah, it's just about our execution to see how close we're going to be in this game.
Ant just said that Rudy Gobert don't put no fear in nobody's eyes, so we better attack that boy.
Who said that?
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards said like he don't put no fear. No, like they were driving at him all game. Like
but you don't have to be afraid of him for him to block your shit.
Well, but that's the thing. I think the quote said Anthony Edwards on why he missed shots against Rudy Gobert at the rim. You don't scare me. That's what it was. Like he had like a bad night shooting.
But did you watch did you see like the highlights? They were like going at him and like they were smoking him. Like, well, not like the layups.
I will say I have seen times where I feel like Rudy Gobert gets a little bit of too much respect on the court from that point of view. I think I could say that I might have seen that before as well, where I want somebody to challenge him a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so. It's like, oh, he's a defensive player of the year. I'm not going to, instead of like, let me go up there and see what happens.
Like if he's late on a rotation, even our guys are just scared to even attempt it. Like
like I've seen our guys, the Spurs, I've seen our guys completely get shut down by his presence in the paint alone, because that's all we have is rim runners. And last year, DeMar DeRozan, drive, nope, not gonna shoot it, kick out. DJ, drive, nope, not gonna shoot it, kick out. And like four times in one possession, that's one man standing in the paint.
Devin or Lonnie to just fucking throw one down on that fool just to humble him a little bit, and then we'll get our guys to go at him. Or KJ.
I feel like somebody tried him last year.
I couldn't tell you if I remember that. Right? No, man. Patty's beef was against Indiana, man.
Hey, don't talk about Patty's beef like that, man.
Remember when he got angry against what's his name? Jakar Sampson.
Yeah, I remember.
That was great, man. That was great.
Today, man.
I know.
But
I'm not scared of Utah because I saw the way we competed against Phoenix both times, We beat Golden State. Like apparently the Grizzlies are the number 4 seed in the West too. So like the top 4 teams in the West.
Hey, remember when I
afraid of.
said they just lost a job? Maybe we could catch them a little bit, and then they just wanted to win every game without him.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Well, I mean, I think we have our week. The only thing I really want to talk about before we wrap it up is like trade talks. Just how we feel about
3-0. That's what I'm talking about. Before we get too far.
Well, I guess so, right? Like,
I just want to know what everybody's.
We'll go ahead and do the weekly prediction, right? So
give me my 3 dubs. Line them up.
Give me 1 second. So Josh says 3-0.
That's what I said.
Juan, what do you have?
I'll go 2-1.
2-1. Okay, so Juan does not have us going undefeated this week. And Chris? Chris, what do you got us doing?
I think I'll say the same. I think I'll say 2-1. Sorry, I was looking at Utah's stats. Rudy Gay, let's go. 9.8 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't even think about the
in his 12 games played so far.
Yeah, we're gonna take revenge.
So I'm the same. I'm the same. I think we'll beat New Orleans. I think we'll we have to go and beat Charlotte. They have talent, but we need to go beat them. And then Utah, I think that we can compete with them. But I don't know. Like out of all it's kind of like we've seen before. Like Utah kind of knows what they are, and they do it well. So like I don't know. It's just tough to beat a team that knows how they want to play already, and we're still trying to figure that out.
Okay. No, that's cool. So yeah, on our week then, we got 3 of our guys going 2-1. I'm also gonna say 2-1. Josh says we're going 3-0. He's kind of crazy, but
we are going.
We'll see. I'm on the same boat. I think we can take advantage of New Orleans. We can hopefully take advantage of Charlotte, especially with the COVID protocols. We'll be able to play against a team that's not ready to go out there, or we'll play against a team full of third stringers still because they can't play.
Hopefully we can get Primo some more run. We didn't really touch on that at all, but he looked comfortable and okay in those spots he played. So maybe he'll start getting more minutes.
Yeah, I would love to see Jock and Primo get more minutes coming off of the bench right now.
Yeah, Jeff.
Well, let's see if we can put New Orleans away early and get Jock some minutes today.
Yeah, exactly. Jock had they tweeted his stats. He averaged in 2 games in Austin 27, 7, and 3.5 is what he averaged in 2 games. So I think to me like. That kind of like say he deserves at least some run. You know what I mean? Yeah, we got to see what he can do. I mean, you send him to a G League to get better, but then he averages 27, and let's see what he could do.
Yeah,
but also Pop was saying like in terms of sending Jock to the G League, like
I know he said that he wasn't ready. He was in.
Well, because that's what I'm saying. So not necessarily like he needs the competition to help him better. It's like he was just out with concussion protocols. Then he was out for something else. So it's like he just needs actual
he needs minutes. Yeah, he needs minutes.
Yeah.
I believe that's what he said. Exactly. He needs minutes. Hey, man, we're giving him some minutes.
Yeah, so real quick, though, just to show the updated...
in your power, Pop.
Yeah.
Just to show the updated scoreboards. All of us had... Went. I think all 4 of us had gone 3-1 on the week, and well, we went 1-3, which meant we all lost a point on that. We're all in the negatives right now. Even I'm in the negative right now because we had the undefeated week. And,
you're negative every week. Yeah, about this damn San Antonio Spurs team.
So I think I'm actually having us being positive. I said that we're going 2-1, so it's a. I think it's cool that we're all kind of close at this point in time right now. I think my little handicap had definitely hit me back that 1 week, but I think we'll be fine. I think
you should have lost 5 points for that 4-0 week.
No, thank you. Yeah. So we have our scoreboard. We have our predictions for the week. We play against New Orleans today. Play against Charlotte, and then we play against Utah, right? But real quick before we do wrap this up, I just want to get your opinions on trade talks. Just before we get out of here, just want to
Don't do
Are
it.
y'all interested in trading DeJounte Murray for Ben Simmons?
Boy,
what
shut your
the
mouth.
Never.
Right. No, I don't think I am either.
No.
The only
I think-
person that I would trade DeJounte Murray for right now would be like Luka
Michael
or somebody
Jordan.
like somebody like
Right.
that. Like I wouldn't get rid of him for nobody.
No
I
way.
think-
There was
Actually,
like
never
a
mind.
graphic.
I don't even want Luka. I don't want nobody. Give me DJ.
Yeah, there was like a picture or like somebody had posted something about like DeJounte's like actual contract versus like the way he's playing, like his
He's a
what-
max
like
player,
what-
dude.
yeah, he's like playing like at worth like 35 million.
Yeah.
And we
I
have
thought
him
it was
at
29. I thought it was 29 and then
Oh.
going up. Like
yeah, and we have him at 16. And it's
Mhm.
like he's playing like all
Yeah.
those other guys. So
paying that boy scraps compared to these other fools.
like there's no need to get rid of DeJounte at all.
I don't think there's a need to get rid of DeJounte either.
The only thing that I would be willing to listen to see what Indiana would want for Miles Turner. Like I
Yeah.
do not want to get rid of none of our guard. Like I really couldn't tell you what Indiana needs. Like if they want draft picks, fucking take them all. Like
Yeah.
for
I don't-
Miles, but I don't want to strip our I don't want to.
I don't want to
go
trade for like
Miles Turner.
Demonis Sabonis. That's my
Yeah,
thing.
I don't want Sabonis.
No.
I want
I don't want Sabonis
Miles Turner. I want Miles Turner on my basketball team. Like
That's
that would
crazy. I feel like Sabonis is a better fit.
no.
Because he's a 4 and we need the 4 or what?
Yeah,
With
and you
Zach?
could and you could play Sabonis at the 4 and your lineup would be a little bit more like complete.
But he doesn't add. I mean, like yeah, our offense gets stronger. I mean, obviously it gets a lot stronger when you add an all-star to your starting five. But like our defense is what's severely lacking right now. That's what needs help. You know what I mean? I can say
I
that right.
disagree.
I think-
there's plenty of stretches where we just go blank. We just stop
But-
scoring the ball.
Exactly
Yeah.
what Chris said though. Like when you don't have that interior defense, it just it closes off those little things. If we can get a stop, we can add pressure. We can start moving the ball more. We can start, running in transition a lot better. So if we have 48 minutes of Jakob Poeltl and Miles Turner as your interior defense, like you're gonna have a lot more defensive rebounds. You're gonna have a lot more stops, a lot more blocks. Like they're not gonna attack the rim as much, So at that point, then you're relying on your defensive guards, DeJounte, Devin, Derek, to get those stops for you on the perimeter. Like that just adds so much more to the offensive capabilities when we get defensive stops. And
My only concern with like getting Miles Turner would just be like overlap between him and Yak.
And honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of saying of like this thought process of like seeing Miles Turner be a 4 because that's too slow. But he can space, and if we ever really, really wanted to do that, like that could be an option. My thing would probably be like you said.
If we were to get Miles Turner,
what's up?
Good.
So I was just gonna say that with Miles Turner and Jakob, like my thing would definitely just be that like it turns into like these guys are gonna be fighting 24 minutes each to see who's gonna be that 5 for us, that starting 5,
And I think that's the problem.
That is an issue, right? Like if we trade for Miles Turner, that becomes an issue. That's a thing that I don't really want to see.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when there's a guy like Miles Turner out there, I think that we need to try to take the advantage and get a guy like Miles Turner on our team for the future.
But I don't think we're a Miles Turner away from winning this year. So, like winning it all.
That's still building. You're still building.
Yeah,
Miles Turner.
But if you got and I wouldn't want to overpay for. That's what I was gonna say too. I wouldn't want to overpay for a guy like Miles Turner. I mean,
but
he's young.
Miles Turner's on a reasonable contract.
He's on a very reasonable contract.
He's at 18. He's at 18 a mil. He's at 18 a million.
Mm-hmm.
18 a million for this. 18 million a year for this year and for next year.
Yeah.
Sorry. 18 million a year for the next 2 years.
The same thing as DJ. That's the same thing. I feel like he's outplayed his contract. So if we were to get Miles Turner, and that's why I was saying like I'm not trying to gut our team for him, but if we were to get him, we're not paying him what he's worth the same way we're not paying DJ what he's worth. So if we get it,
but we would have to pay him what he's worth like in 2 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But that's okay because we don't know what's going to happen in 2 years. Like maybe a guy or two walks or whatever the case.
That's why I don't think it's okay. I don't know if you're probably just better off with Jakob at the reasonable price because we're paying Jakob like nothing, and we're gonna have to pay Jakob in a couple years.
Yeah, the only way that I would like a pipe dream would be that we would get a guy like Miles Turner and he would be okay with, okay, you're coming off of this, let's give you a good deal that's not a lot of money, we're going to hold you down for a decent amount of time, and you're going to share time, you're not going to be the de facto starter. It's, you know what I mean, like how which I think goes against some of the things that he was saying recently or something.
Well, no. A lot of that stuff was pretty
outplayed his money either.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to do that for two centers on our roster. I guess.
No. But what I'm saying is like, okay, let's just say, Miles came over. Like, potentially, I feel like even now, I feel like Miles Turner is better than Jakob Poeltl. Like,
well, I think he'd be a better fit for our guys.
So like, let's just say in 2 years, like I said, somebody's gonna have to walk. If Yak walks, but we have the guy already, then that's okay, and then Yak could do what he needs to do for Yak. But
like
if we were to get him in and then we lose a guy like Yak, it just won't make. I won't feel like, damn, we just lost.
In my head, that's a bit of a better trade off. Like, because I'm
just trade Yak for Miles Turner.
Yeah, well, they're not going to want that. They're not going to want that. They want younger pieces. They want younger pieces or picks.
Maybe we throw him Thad because his contract will fall off and picks, and then they'll get that money back next year, and plus the picks.
Yeah, see, that's the most reasonable like trade I would do in general, anyways. Like when people, I said on the podcast like a couple weeks ago, however long ago it was, like the Sabonis, people were trying to trade like Keldon Johnson, Thaddeus Young, and like for Sabonis, and so my whole point, like to Jake's question, is like I don't want to trade for anybody. I don't want to take any young pieces away or future picks.
Them out there.
Yeah, and like I was arguing, like in terms of fit, I would take Sabonis. Like if you could just add a guy to your team, like obviously, right? Like who wouldn't just do that? But like when people were trying to trade away like Keldon for Sabonis, it's like we basically just traded away like DeMar and Keldon to be right back like in the same point where we were last year.
Yeah.
Like a mediocre team with not as many pieces as you need around him. You're literally losing a young person to just add like another guy like DeMar, like an all-star, but like you still need to have all the pieces around him.
A low-end all-star.
Yeah, you still would need to have the pieces around him, but then you're literally giving up a future piece, like like a guy.
And the only difference with Miles Turner and Sabonis is that like Miles Turner can still grow with the core. He's still young enough that he can grow with the core.
Oh, how old is Sabonis?
Sabonis is like 27 or 28 years old. And then
Miles Turner's only 25.
Miles Turner's like 25. That's 3 years. I think that's more than enough time.
27 to 25.
Sabonis is 25.
Sabonis is 25?
Yes.
So then they're around the same age, 24 then?
What?
If Miles Turner is 24?
No, they're both 25. I think.
They're both 25? If they're either way then. I mean, I guess I didn't personally
know about as much of the NBA as I thought I did.
Yeah, right. No,
that guy was 3 years older than.
I mean, I think people know how good Sabonis is and how good he's gonna be.
Wait, so if Sabonis, like you said, we're only gonna get an all-star or whatever. If Sabonis is 25, because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know how old that guy was. I wasn't trying to act like I did, but if Sabonis is 25, the same age as Miles Turner, then I would definitely go Sabonis.
But you're giving up more for him.
I really did think. Well, I mean,
but he's a better player.
But he's already a better player than Miles Turner is.
I'd rather just trade for Miles Turner and have somebody who, like I said, like I mean.
Well, I'd rather not trade. That's kind of where this disconnect is.
No. I get that. I get
I'm
that.
Trade for Sabonis and then flip him for Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that works. That works.
And Joel Embiid.
But yeah, so I mean, there you go. I think we all know where we all stand. I personally am okay with the trade. I'm definitely okay with the Miles Turner trade. If anything, that's like in terms of like where it goes, it would be Miles Turner.
I do like the idea.
Simmons,
I do like the idea of having Miles Turner and Jakob Both of them, their contracts expire at the same time. So I like the idea of having a plan for what your center is going to be in 2 years. You know what I mean? Having options. I do like that. I wouldn't overpay for it to get Miles Turner though.
Yeah,
I'd rather just try to hopefully have Jakob Poeltl continue to have his play, increase his pay, and keep him on the team and lock him down. That would be like my option one.
The only way I would take a Miles Turner trade is if it's Thaddeus Young and second round picks, because we know we're not going to have Thaddeus Young, and we know we're giving him away.
I would give him like that pick. I would give him a first round pick.
I wouldn't, because like you guys said, like there's a chance in 2 years we might not be able to even afford or keep Miles Turner, or like he might not even want to be here because of the role or whatever.
But I feel like that's like you're gonna give away that pick and just take a gamble, like, because he said like, I want more, like I want the responsibility. I'm not a role player. This is what I want. So if we give him what he wants and he excels at it, like why not pay him? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but if he lives up to his part of the
bargain.
If he comes to San Antonio and he does like outperform and he averages 20, 12, and 4 blocks a game, and then you're already having to pay like DeJounte and Derek and probably Keldon, you know what I mean? And Devin.
But we did talk about the addition of Primo being somebody, and we talked like we might not pay Derek, or we might not pay Lonnie, or we might not pay somebody. Like money's gonna come and go. Plus with the new deal, right, we're gonna get more money. You know, so
I just don't want to have to pay like a guy like Miles Turner like $30 million a year, and then we're kind of stuck because we're crippled by Miles Turner like level.
That money is going to go off of what he does. If he comes and improves, he's worth it. Then he proves he's worth it. Like if he generates dubs and proves it, like what can we do? Like.
And then you can already tell, like, I mean, he accepted that small of a deal with Indiana. I could tell you that he's probably not going to be that kind of guy that's like.
And he's from Texas, right? I mean, he went to Texas.
Yeah, he went to Texas.
I don't know where he's from, but I know.
But he's that like he's the kind of guy that's more loyal to the franchise than you're going to see regularly. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where if we do right by him, there's a good chance that we'd probably be able to keep him on a good deal too. You know what I mean? Not like obviously not the $18 million he's getting paid now. It would be more, but it wouldn't be the max money.
I feel like that's a fair price for him.
Well, like I'm saying, if he starts to overachieve, if he starts to add more to the game.
I just got a text saying that the tickets for tonight, Pelicans Spurs, $5.
Damn. Is it in New Orleans or is it in San Antonio?
It's in San Antonio.
It's in San Antonio.
What the heck?
That's unfortunate that I'm not there right now. Yeah, exactly.
Fair price.
But
I'm taking all y'all to the game.
So I'll give y'all a hypothetical to think on for a week. I saw the trade for Ben Simmons. It was Derek White, Thaddeus Young, a first for Ben Simmons.
Give it
to me today.
And I love Derek, and I would really like him to be on the team until he retires. I really would.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that would help shore up that 4 position. He'd be a playmaker. You could put a guy like Lonnie or Devin in Derek's spot.
He would be an all NBA like defense like that alone. Like, okay, give me that guy.
Exactly.
Jake said we needed help on the defensive end. Why not add somebody?
Same thing. He did like even though like he's not necessarily a shot blocker or anything like that. That's still the same. Like, I feel like that's the same premise. He still has a very good mix of interior and perimeter defense. That's like, I'm not going to tell you I'm opposed to that. That's a great deal in my head. But all right.
And we're already giving Derek 18. We'd have to double that up and give Ben 33, 35, 37, 40.
Yeah. I think it's okay.
I might consider that deal though.
I'm okay with that. But yeah, just to wrap things up, I'll go ahead and restate. We do this podcast every Sunday at 10 a.m. Central Time, 10 a.m. Central Time, right? We go live on YouTube, on Twitch, on Twitter. If you cannot catch us during our 10 a.m. live stream, there's the VOD that comes out right after this stream ends, and you'll be able to watch it on all 3 platforms. And be able to watch us talk about Spurs basketball. We do love it if y'all would interact with us during the live stream as well. And we do like interactions. We do like to talk. We like to hear whatever y'all have to say during the live stream. We'll be able to add more talking points while we're in the middle of things. At the same time, make sure to catch us at Heroes Half Court on Twitter because we talk during the games as well. We do interact with a lot of people in the Spurs Twitterverse, and we love all the interaction possible. Josh, Juan, Chris, do y'all have anything else to say for this week?
No, the Dallas Cowboys play in like 15 minutes, so go Cowboys. Let's beat Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And San Antonio Spurs, I believe, is going to start during that game, so I'll have two games running. Oh, well, they probably ran over.
The Cowboys?
From no, 3 o'clock. I thought they played it earlier, right? But yeah. So right after. So now we got time to watch both. Y'all got no excuses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly.
I watch both either way.
Me too. I will not be watching football, but have a good day.
Hey, the Jags.
If you are a Jags fan, I would not watch football either.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah. No, but with that, we have our week ahead of us. We're having a very fun Christmas month right now.
I am broke.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. No presents.
Well, okay. I'll say that I'm having a very fun Christmas month so far, especially with my. I'm the one that's been making these headliners for our podcast, right? I think I've been doing pretty good in terms of making some nice Christmas Spurs puns, right? But with that being said, guys, I hope everybody has a blessed, wonderful week.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
We'll be back here next week to talk before Christmas. And with that being said, we are
Board Vita.
Board Vita, right? We are out.
Did you just say Board Vita?